Well, hey there, chemistry classes. This isn't the way I thought we'd meet, but let's all do our best and kind of get through this. I was excited to have us jump in the lab on Monday, and I hope we're back in the lab as soon as possible. I finished grading your quizzes. Those are in Skyward. Some of you did very well. Some of you, I'm hoping are going to retake. And going forward here, as we practice single replacement reactions, predicting products, you're going to get better and better and better at balancing equations. Here, if you look at this worksheet today, these are all single replacement reactions. You look, they're all an element and a compound. The order we write them in on the front side does not matter one iota. To predict products, we recognize them as single replacement. We're going to form a new element and a new compound. Your element does not have a charge, but it forms either positive or negative ions. If your element in the first one is iron, we know iron forms positive ions. It's going to pair up with a negative ion in the compound. All right, so when we put these together, I'm going to put iron with chlorine. Now, iron can form positive 2s and positive 3s. In this instance, we're always going to assume the higher of the two charges form. So if iron is a positive 3, and we know chloride is a -1, my formula is going to be FeCl3, and these are always going to be aqueous until I tell you otherwise. And the element that got replaced here is hydrogen. And hopefully we know that all 7 diatomic elements, hydrogen is one of them. Hydrogen is H2 and as an element, and its standard state would be in the gaseous form. All right? And then we have to balance it. All right? I have 1 iron on each side. I have 3 chlorines on the product side and only 1 on the reactant side. I'll put a 3, which changes hydrogen to 3 atoms of hydrogen, and I would need a 1.5 in front of hydrogen to balance hydrogen that way, showing the law of conservation mass. All right, and we can go ahead and do some more of these predicting products. If I did one more, let's go down to number 4, potassium chloride plus iodine. Now my element, iodine, does not have a charge in its elemental state, but forms negative ions. So it will replace the other negative ion in the compound potassium chloride. So my product would be potassium iodide. I know that potassium is a +1 and iodide is a -1. I do not need to add any subscripts to this. It will be aqueous. And the element that gets replaced here is going to be chlorine, also a diatomic element. Chlorine would be a gas in its elemental state. Balancing this one, potassiums look good, 1 and 1 on each side of the equation. I have 2 iodines here. A 2 in front of Ki makes 2 iodines, also makes 2 potassiums. A 2 in front here for 2 potassiums, and my equation is balanced. So right now we are just arranging these letters on paper as if a reaction is going to form. Not all times does a reaction form. When we do single replacement, we're going to check our what's called our activity series, right? There is one for metals and there is one for non-metals, all right? Metals can only replace those metals they are higher than. Same for non-metals. If you look up at the top of the metals column, lithium, potassium, calcium, and sodium, these are some of our most reactive metals. They are so reactive that they will react with water. All right? The metals down at the bottom, gold, silver, mercury, are very non-reactive and don't like to be in compounds. So I'm going to flip back and forth here. For our first reaction before, we had iron replacing the hydrogen from acids. If I look at my list, find iron is higher than hydrogen from acids, right? So iron can replace hydrogen and we would see a reaction, right? The iron would dissolve and it would fizz, and hydrogen gas would come out of solution. Oops. In my other example, number 4, we had potassium chloride reacting with iodine, and we rearrange the letters on paper to form Ki and Cl2. I don't have the states on here. I do want you to put states on the worksheet. But if we compare iodine to the iodine, the element chlorine that it's replacing, iodine is lower than chlorine and is not reactive enough, and no reaction would happen. And we would put NR over the arrow for no reaction. Please go ahead and let's say, for today is a minimal. Let's work the first 10 on our signal replacement worksheet. And I look forward to hearing from you guys during my office hours between 10:30 and noon, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Best of luck. We're all in this together. Keep your stick on the ice.